Welcome everyone. This is Mohandan Raghavan. This video we are going to recollect something on conditional statements of Java. In Java, we have very basic conditional statements such as like if else, for condition, switch condition, and while condition. We are going to iterate one by one. The first one will be the if else block. Generally, we will start with if block. If block is very simple that if you have Boolean condition, if it is true, the block will be executed. Otherwise, it will be skipped. For example, here you can see 20 is greater than 18. It will be true. So the statement inside the if block will be executed. If it is something, let's say if it is only 2, it will be the false statement. So it will be coming out of the loop. Next one, if else. Let's say if condition becomes false, then you will be coming to the else block. Then that block will be executed automatically. But in some time, if the if condition is true, then the if block will be executed, then else block will not be executed. It is like either this way or that way. If else, or let's say if else, if else. Let's say if you come to the else block, because the first part, let's say if block became false, then you will be coming to the second part else. But here, rather than going with the default block, we are checking one more condition here. So that time you will be adding else if instead of else. Here you will be having the condition again, you will be checking, and at the end you will be having the else block. In this situation, you can have any number of else if, but at the end you will be having the else. And we have another shortcut for the if else. Let's say if you want to assign some value to some variable, based on condition, you can assign the value. So rather than writing a difficult if else block, you can write it in a single statement that will be called as a ternary operator. It will have 3 parts. The first part will be checking for the logical condition. It will become true or false. The second part will be just assigned to the variable if it is true. And third part will be assigned if it is false. So this way we have understood what is if else. But generally if else will be used. Let's say you have some condition to be tested. Based on the condition you want to do some actions. That time you will be going with the else condition or if else condition. Let's go into the while condition. So when comparing with if else or if block, here while condition will be executing until some event happens. So you may not be knowing when it will complete or when it will be attaining that state. So when it attains that state, you will be just working on that state. For example, let's say if while condition is there, it will be looking for some action or event to be happen. Until that event happens, it will be keep on doing that loop. So here while always considered as a loop. That means that this will be keep on looping into the same statement until the event happens. Here we will go with first while loop. So let's say integer I is equal to 0 and we are checking I will be less than 5 and we are printing that the I value. Obviously we have the I as 0 and we are making the increment here. So this is our responsibility to make the increment for the given variable or to make that event happen. In real time, it may be the events. For example, in browsers and all, you may look for the click event. You may just look for the click event or let's say double click event or mouse over event. But in programmatically, you will be looking for some other third party or other files that should be available kind of scenario. So till that point, you will be keep on looping into the same statement. Just to demo purpose, we are making the increment here and we will be incrementing every time. It will be just reaching the 4 value. That time also it will be executed. When it reaches 5 less than 5 becomes false, then it will come out of the while loop. So here in while loop, you may be having a situation like in the starting state itself, you may false. That means that let's say initially only you have, let's say 7, then obviously in the starting position itself, you are becoming the false condition so that even the while loop will not start itself. But let's say some scenario you want to execute at least one time, you will go with the do while loop. So in that scenario, we will be having the do. So it will be executing, then it will be doing the actions for whatever we want. Then it will be checking the conditions. Next, we will just go into the for condition. So in while condition, we show that, or let's say we want to loop something, but we are not sure when it will be completed or when the event will happen. We are just looking for some event to be completed. Then we are till that point, we are just looping the statements. But in for condition, again, here also we are looping, but here we will be having the finite number of times. So that means that beforehand only we know that how many times we want to iterate, we want to loop it. So those scenario we are going with the for loop. For loop basically will be having three parts in the condition. So initialization, which will be executed only at the starting, and condition checking, it will be checking for every time when it loops, and incremental, it will be incrementing for the every loop. For example, initially it will be set to I is equal to 0, then it will be checking I is less than 5. Yes, it's true. Then it will execute the statement, then it will increment, then again it will just start with the condition checking. So this loop will continue until the condition become false. So obviously I will be keep on incrementing so that it will be executing for 5 times, because 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. When it becomes 5, 5 less than 5, it becomes false, it comes out of the loop. Break statement. So break statement in the sense we want to continue the loop, but if some condition met, then we can break it, we can just stop the for loop, we can come out. Let's say you want to just iterate for 1000 times, or let's say you want to search for 1000 items. But if you have some conditions, if it met, then you need to come out of the loop, then you can make the break statement. So break statement abruptly stop there and it will come out of the for loop entirely. Whereas continue statement, it will keep on continue, but it will skip only the particular iteration. For example, let's say if you are looping for 5 times and if you are looking for the third item should be skipped, if it is third item, you can continue. So that means that it will skip only for the third iteration and it will continue with the fourth and fifth iterations. So those kind of scenarios you can start with continue. And the last one, it will be called as an enhanced for loop. We need to understand a little bit on the array and as well as for the collections. But however, we will just consider array is nothing but the collection of data with the same type. For example, here you can see these are the collection of, let's say, data. It all will be in the string type. And this is about cars. So that's the reason we are creating the string array of cars. Okay, fine. However, we will be seeing the arrays in detail in the further sessions, but we will understand this one. So if you don't want to iterate over with index values, you can directly iterate with the enhanced for loop. So for that, what you will be doing is like you will be mentioning the variable which holds the array or the object, or let's see, to be precise, it should be the collection object. But to be simple here, we can just consider the array. So we will be having the array here, which can be iterable, which means that it have list of items inside that. And we know that arrays will be having the same type, so that we will be mentioning the type of the each value inside the array, and we will be having the placeholder for the single item when it happens for the iteration, which means that array, let's say cars will be having the list of items, but when you make the iteration, it will take only one item from the array. So that will be saved into the I variable. Now with that I variable, whatever you want to do, you can do it inside your, let's say, the for loop. This for loop will be very easy when you have the list of items like arrays and the object collections. But however, if you want to just access the index value, you may not be using this one. You will be going with the default for loop. Next one will be the switch condition. So now we have seen what is if else, or let's say if block. If you have some condition, based on the condition you want to control the flow, you will go with if else. And let's say you want some event to be happening. So till that point, you want to do some looping condition. That time you will be going with the while loop. Let's say you know how many times you want to iterate, and beforehand only you know how many iterations you want to do. So that time you will be going with the for condition. Inside for condition again, if you have the list of items such as like a, let's say array, or let's say collection objects, you will be going with the enhanced for loop, or you will go with the normal for loop. Now switch condition. So rather than checking if else, you can directly work with the switch condition, whichever matches with the, let's say, the object, or let's say the variable, it will directly jump into the block and it will execute that. If else will be clumsy in case if you have multiple if else condition, but switch will be very easy because it matches with the a specific case. It will directly jump into the case and it will execute that block, it will come out. But here the catch is you need to explicitly mention the break statement. So let's understand this switch statement. Here you have the int day is equal to 44, make it 4 actually now as of now, save it. And let's say if you have the day 4, then the day variable will be just checked with the switch statement. So here you are starting with the switch statement. The input to the switch statement will be your day. So now we have 4 in our hand. So now we have the different cases. The cases will be matched with the value that we have in our hand. For example, 4 will be matched with 1, it's not matching. 2, it will not match. 3, it will match. 3, it will not match, and 4, it will match. then it will be displaying the testing. Then it will start to continue executing. But however, we have the break statement here. So break means the same meaning you can consider for the for loop. So it will break from that moment, it will come out of the entire block. So that means that it will come out from the switch block. But let's say this is our responsibility to make the break. And at last you will be having the default statement. Let's say if you have some value, it does not match with any cases, then it will look for the default statement. It will be executing that block. So in this, we have one more concept like fallback. So fallback in the sense, let's say if I just remove this break or commenting out the break for the first three statements. So what will happen is, so let's say if I am giving 1, it will execute Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. That means that since we don't have break statement, it will start executing regardless of having the case 2, case 3. Till it finds the next break statement, it will keep on executing. But you may find this one as the disadvantage, but it will be useful when you have some kind of fallback mechanism. For example, if you consider the Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4 for the year, January, February, March will be comes under the same quarter, Q1. So those kind of scenarios, you don't need to write again and again Q1, Q1, Q1 for the 3 different months. You can write only at the third statement Q1, and you can mention case 1, case 2, case 3 will be pointing to the same one by removing the break statement or without writing the break statement, which means that if you are just consider mapping with January, February, March to 1, 2, 3 respectively, whether you give January, February, March, you will be ending up with the Q1. The same for the other quarters. Okay, let me execute the if else block. So we will just understand and we will see what will happen. We will just predict what are the outputs. See, for example, 20 is greater than 18, so it will be true. The block will be executed, fine. And the time is 20, we are checking. Time is less than 18, it is false. So we will be looking for the good evening message. Then here in this scenario, time will be 22 and we are checking time is less than 10, no. And if else condition, or let's say else if, again you will be checking time is less than 20, it's false again. Again, it will be going to the else block, which will be the final block. We are getting the very good morning. So we are getting the same output. So here 20 is greater than 18 and good evening, very good evening, hello, good evening, which will be the last one. So this will be the terminal operator. So sorry, ternary operator. So time is less than 18 and obviously at the last time it will be 22, right? So it is false. So that's why we are getting the hello, good evening. Let's go into the for condition. Here we will be iterating through 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, fine. Here we will be iterating 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 will be skipped, 5, 6, 7 till that point it reaches the 9. And same here, continue statement. So it will execute, sorry, here it is a break statement, right? So break means it will execute only at that point 4. So that means that you can see 0, 1, 2, 3, that's all. Once it reaches the 4, it will be just breaking the statement, it will come out. But whereas continue, it will continue until it reaches the 9 value. And here it will be just displaying all the values, but however, you can access the arrays by using the index also, but that we will see in the later session. So now we will be just want to see all the outputs in the output by using the enhanced for loop. So let's execute again. Great. So we can see parallelly here. The first statement, it's iterating 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and second statement, it executes only till 3, because when it reaches the 4, it will break that. And second one, or the continue statement, it will execute all the things, but it will skip only for the 4, since we have used the continue statement. And next one, enhance for loop. So let me see that. So here you can see it will be just displaying all the cars one by one, Volvo, BMW, Ford, and Mazda. So this way we have seen the for condition. We will go to the while condition. While condition, obviously we will be executing till 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And do while, it will be executing initial stage one time. After that, it will be just looking for the condition. So here you can see 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here you cannot see any difference because you have the condition here. Let's say if I just change it to the second one to 10. Initially it will execute once, but after that it will not be executing because 10 less than 5. sorry, 10 is less than 5, it's false, right? So we'll go to that and we'll execute again. Here you can see only 10 has been executed. Now we will go to the switch condition. So we'll just remove the break statements, and let's say if you don't match any case, then it should be going with the default, right? We will check that one. Yes, sorry, invalid input. Let's remove and just give it valid value, run it. So the case which matches with the 4 is 4 and system.out.println Thursday, it comes out. Let me remove the break statement for case 2 and 3. Now if I give case 1, it will be executing all the 3 parts: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And in Wednesday block, we have the break statement. Yes. So this will be the fallback mechanism. So this way we have understood very basic, let's say, conditional statements in Java: if else, for condition, switch condition, and while condition. So thanks for watching and have a great day.